This is Amit Mookim, and I'm be speaking on the Scale Up and Grow Building an AppNirbhar Bharat. It's great to be here in this session, and I do believe that we are in an inflection point with respect to what is happening on the technology front. In the last few years, we have seen rapid growth in build-up of SaaS companies. And I'll be talking a little bit about that, as well as some of the questions that you may have or the audience may have on what is really required to scale up and build an AppNirbhar Bharat. Today, we have close to 1,000 SaaS companies based in India, which is by no normal feat an achievement by what has happened in the next generation of how technology companies have grown. Not only that, we have close to 10 unicorns that have got formed in the Indian SaaS ecosystems. Unicorns such as Zoho, Freshworks, Icertis, Postman, Zenoti, Dhruva, Innovasa, ChargeBee, etc. There's also been a tremendous amount of interest by venture capital funds and investors in the Indian SaaS ecosystem over the last 4 to 5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, a little under $5 billion has been invested in these SaaS companies. Now, one of the things that is a huge upside for the Indian economy, beyond what is going on the tech development and the globalization of Indian technology, is really how it generates employment for the technology workforce that India is proud of. Close to 40,000 people have been employed in India by pure play SaaS companies, and 60% of the SaaS market opportunity outside is in North America. So SaaS is slowly becoming a global industry. At the same time, I see a tremendous headroom for growth of some of these companies because consolidation has not happened in this sector. The total market share of even a leader in any segment is less than 20%, which means that there is significant headroom for growth for all the companies that are today here. The pandemic has accelerated the growth of this SaaS ecosystem. And I believe that the ecosystem has tremendous potential, not only to generate value, but also to create jobs in the next 8 to 10 years. And jobs that could be across developers, specific software across verticals. And I'll touch a little bit about healthcare, that has been my focus area as well, because there's a great opportunity for technology in that space as well. Now, one of the things that we need to also understand that while all of this is happening and the scale that it demands, we have to see continuous funding and investment in this space. And historically, most Indian SaaS companies have been underinvesting in growth compared to global as well as Indian leaders. And I think that therein lies one of the areas that needs to be a lot more focused on. Now, what we see is, as TIE, India will play a meaningful role globally in the SaaS ecosystem. And from a revenue base of a little under $3 billion today, this could rise almost by 18 to 20 times in the next 10 years. What it means is that the value creation could be anywhere between $500 billion to $1 trillion. And from 40,000 jobs that have been created, 10 times more could be created in the next 10 years. And as TIE, we are supporting this entire ecosystem in a big way, given our ethos of entering, supporting investments, as well as global networking. Now let's come to the Ayushman Bharat, the AppNirbhar Bharat, and whatever is going on to actually build a more sustainable and self-reliant industry across India. This has a potential to actually create massive platforms to build whatever is happening across specific sectors in the AppNirbhar Bharat ecosystem. Startups in India need to build very strong digital go-to-market strategies that can help accelerate growth faster. And today in this borderless economy, the percentage of digital sales combined with periodic physical handshakes can be replaced, right? And this can replace the need for 30, 40, 50 sales people that are usually needed to drive global sales and need to be located globally. With this entire shift in technology, startups can be ready from day one of the product launch. But having said that, one of the gaps that is there is in the skills ecosystem, and key technology and product management skills will be needed to be imparted at the college level education. And the industry needs to come together with the academia to push the SaaS agenda. Today, the industry, as I said, employs a little under 50,000 people in India in direct SaaS companies. But with the demand that is emerging and 10 times more people that will be required and the skills that are required, we really need to up the ante to build something for India, from India, for the global arena. If we see such humongous growth, we also feel that tens of billions of dollars will be required to be pumped into the SaaS startups in the next years. And there is no doubt that large global as well as India funds will be chasing the SaaS opportunity, which is being developed from India. Now, one of the points that I was asked to speak about is how do we build a made in Indian app ecosystem? Now, the grassroots and the fundamental pillars of that is already being set up in place. If we look at our unified payments interface, the UPI, that has already laid a foundation for which no other country has, which India has. We are seeing the emergence of super apps. The Arogya Setu app had the largest number of downloads in the shortest possible time. And there could be a roadmap where the Arogya Setu app could also emerge as a large app to drive healthcare across the ecosystem. Not only that, you have large corporate houses such as Tata, Reliance, and others who have started paving the way forward for an ecosystem integration. And one of the major steps forward in the last year, driven by the pandemic and even otherwise, is the significant play and investment and the M&A activity that we have seen by large corporate houses to support the startup ecosystem, which is a step forward in the maturity of the Indian industry per se. However, having said that, we believe that back-end logistics and infrastructure will be key. And it is a challenge today to determining and driving the speed to build this ecosystem. We all know that app is a front end, and the back-end plumbing is something which we still need to do fully and completely across the several sectors that need to support whatever features are being promised by the front end. I think the other piece, which is very, very important as we are building this whole ecosystem, is to create policies that do not have a bias or do not have a ways in which monopolistic or cannibalization happens. And the ecosystem is building that is taking into account the entire segment of both small and medium enterprises, budding entrepreneurs, and the ecosystem at large, irrespective of their size and muscle power. Now, let me touch a little bit about healthcare. As we all know, we launched Ayushman Bharat about 3 years ago. That program was designed to be the largest universal healthcare program in the world. With close to 20,000 hospitals that have empaneled today and billions of dollars of claims that have been processed by the ecosystem, the digitization of the healthcare ecosystem in India was part progressed by the pandemic when we had the launch of Arogya Setu, which was the app to track not only infection rates, but now vaccination. We launched the entire Sanjeevani app, which was the teleconsultation platform. The ecosystem got together to drive more and more coordination of segregated marketplaces. There is an entire effort that is happening today to digitize the supply chain in the country and build much more visibility and reduce wastages in the supply chain that is costing the economy billions of dollars. Now, more than what we really need is some of these technologies to come in and support innovation. Innovation that is not only rapidly developable, but also drives affordability and access into corners of India that traditionally did not have access to healthcare. And we are seeing such innovation take place, whether it's innovation in point of care testing, which is leveraging some of these technologies, whether it's innovation in bridging patients, doctors, and urgent healthcare together through teleconsultation, telehealth, and remote healthcare platforms, or whether it's innovation in drug development or device development that is taking into account the population in India that really needs affordable and accessible healthcare. Coming back to the whole ecosystem and the interplay between the synergies of global players as well as local players. The way I look at it is that today, an entrepreneur from India is an entrepreneur for the world. Boundaries have shifted or dissolved completely, driven by rapid digitization as well as this pandemic. In almost all SaaS companies, it is difficult to define the nationality of a business. But instead, many SaaS companies I've heard are proud to talk about how many countries are part of their story. And this can only be achieved when the synergies between global and local are very strong, as many of these companies are building global products from day one, which means that there is a deeper understanding and integration of their industry verticals, even during their beta product testing to their launch business. Now, as TIE, we are a global nonprofit that supports entrepreneurship across the world. Of the 60 chapters that we exist in, we have mentored, scaled up more than 10,000 startups. We have an active board of mentors. We have an active board of trustees, people who've been part of the industry, people who've set up, scaled, and exited, and done multiple areas in several ventures. And the entire ethos of our nonprofit institution is to make sure that first generation entrepreneurs find the knowledge, the wherewithal, the co-founders, the investments, and the mentoring. Serial entrepreneurs find business opportunities and global networking, and several programs that are very topical, whether it's sustainability, whether it's healthcare, fintech, new areas that are coming in that are driving industry and shaping innovation going forward, are supported by the thought leadership of TIE.